Today's sneaker review is on the classic gray, all gray New Balance with a little bit of hint of like silver or whatever on it. But this is the one. This is the one, Marv. This is the silver tuna. Man, this is Nail Goodfella Nail here. This is my New Balance, of course. And if it was a bunch of them on the shelf, you would think, you know, if you've not put on yet, this is one of the first ones that it is to go. You know, this is like one of them staple New Balance colors. You know, who'd think that gray would be so hot? You know, usually the colors that's hot typically is like gray and black. I mean, not gray and black, red and black. You know, for obvious reasons, because it's easier to match Bulls and all that other stuff with it. But then maybe blue might go, but blue is usually like last, especially in this day and age. Red, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a red fan. I'll pick red over blue, but it's some shoes that just look, you know, fire in blue. I'm quite sure it's a few New Balances out there in blue that's fire, but I definitely seen some that's really turned up that was like literally dipped in red, you know. So, but I didn't want to become one of them sneaker collectors that like have everything in the same color, you know, like black and red or all red all the time. I wanna let a silhouette shine on its own. I'm definitely into shapes and colors, so a color like this definitely speaks different than the burgundy one I have. I got a burgundy one like this. Let me get it for you guys. Hopefully my sneaker boxes don't fall. It's like playing Jenga. Alright, and this is the burgundy one. I was probably just gonna do a separate video on both of them or something like that, but I don't know. I don't know what I might do. But this just to prove my point. Now, I get a totally different vibe from this one as opposed to the gray one. This one right here, obviously, I think about fall, a little bit of the summer, you know, fall going into like the winter because it's like a warm color. When I first got this one right here, I definitely, it definitely didn't have this white lace in there. I definitely want the white lace for it and put it in there just so it could pop. Unfortunately, these had black laces in it when I first got it, and it was kind of like looking tacky to me. So, but these definitely turn heads, and this is not your typical rough nubuck like kind of like material that's on New Balances. This one is a little bit more polished. It's like a short hair nubuck, and it's like powdery feeling. This one is actually called the Classics Traditionals, and see, man, I was wearing New Balances like you really had to be like just two or 3 years ago. You really had to be in the kicks to know about New Balances. Now, you know, all kinds of people on New Balance team now. Am I happy about it? It's okay. And obviously because they're working with people and putting out new colors. Great for them. Great for the company. I'm happy. You know, it's American made. I definitely support that. And you know, practically with New Balance you can get a shoe for like $80 or less sometimes. So, you know, this one I actually got for like on sale $40. This one I actually had gotten, matter of fact, before that outlet had closed, Champs Outlet, out my way or out a little bit further past my way. These were I think these was like $30 or $40, something like that. These I actually got like near retail. So, but definitely, man, I remember it was a time when I was on my first sneaker channel, of course here on YouTube. You know, I was cleaning these joints. Now this is like my third pair of New Balances, but the New Balance I was cleaning at the time were actually the ones I work out in and run in now. So, you know, around that time in 2012 when I was cleaning them, a guy had left like, you know, a few shitty comments about New Balance or whatever. New Balance is for lames, blah blah blah. And it's just like, you know, look at you now. You know, and it's one of the things that, like, if you wasn't on, you know, you could tell who was in the kicks and stuff like that. People been wearing New Balances before this whole Jordan craze came all out all crazy. Cause like, when I really started seeing people around me wear New Balances was like early to mid 2000s, and I was like, wow, that shoe don't look too bad. It looked cool, you know. And of course it was the 574, and then you got a few, like 2 or 3 more silhouettes and models, you know, that actually look fire. But yeah, man, it's just funny how times have changed, man. You know, you throw a few colors on this joint, and then it become like the most sought after, limited New Balance of all time. And no lie though, some of their collaborations has been crazy. You know, I don't personally know their personal collaborations really personally, but their them colors definitely turned up. And just one more real quick look at the New Balance, man. I want to just give y'all one more. I know, like, y'all probably seen it already, but if you've been contemplating on buying it or whatever, it's definitely a fire shoe. If you could get a deal, get a deal. It's just something I always suggest. But, you know, is it worth the retail price? Yeah. I mean, if you one of the people that buy Jordans, you could buy like at least like 2 pair of these, 2 pair and a half. We talking like 200, you know, plus tax for J's, and these like $80, $60 sometime. That's not even a collaboration. Like, that's just regular price. I don't know how much the collaborations cost, but it can't be that much, because New Balance is known for having decent quality or good quality, you know, and run fairly. It's affordable. I wouldn't say cheap, because cheap is different in everybody's eyes. $80 can be cheap to somebody. $30 can be cheap to somebody else. So, rate, comment, and subscribe if you want. And remember, don't just stock the kicks, rock the kicks. And last but not least, let that joint breathe. No more New Balance hate. Follow me at Nail Goodfella. Peace.